Hello everyone, it's Steve with Aptera Owners Club. You guys remember we put this video out about 5 months ago, and it was talking about the coming capital liquidity crisis. And at that time, Sequoia Capital and Y Combinator had been telling their startups that cutting costs was a priority because access to capital was going to evaporate, and that indeed has happened. Um, and they were recommending at that time that you should cut expenses right away, and then that would give you more buffer to ride out the capital crisis because you have less cash burn. And they said that if you did not cut, there's a possibility that you start cutting when you have to cut. You have no choice but to cut, and you end up in this thing called a death spiral. Um, so Aptera was in a bad position at that time because they're trying to ramp into production, and you need personnel and you need to spend money to get to production. However, money was hard to come by. So recently, a few days ago, Aptera filed an amendment to their SEC filing. This was an amendment dated um, November 17th, 2022. And that says, as Aptera Motors Company progresses from its design phase into production, the company has eliminated 18 positions. This decision was made to better leverage internal and external resources and to help Aptera achieve its maximum potential going forward. The next milestone is having a Delta vehicle design completed by the end of the year, which the company is on track to accomplish. And then if you go down here, this talks about that potential investor that was potentially investing $21 million. So that looks like that's still on the table. They have not eliminated that. And then the other one is about the exit of the CFO, Ms. Burlingame, which we knew about. So we knew about this and we knew about this. This is the new thing, is basically they have eliminated 18 positions. No, what I don't know is what are those 18 positions they eliminated. I know that at least one of them is from the marketing team, but I don't know how many are from the marketing team or how many are from the engineering team or the finance team or what positions there are. And I don't know if this was like, uh, hopefully it's not this, and hopefully it's this. Like they've made it, maybe they're cutting here. They definitely, I don't think they cut here, so maybe we're like here, and we're gonna be okay. They do need to find more funding. I think that is the lifeblood of any startup is constantly finding funding until they become profitable. It's like Tesla lost billions of dollars for over a decade before they became profitable. They were just able to find funding to stay afloat until they became profitable. Um, I don't think very many other companies are going to have that kind of leeway to be in the red for that long and get bailed out by investors. So Aptera does need to become revenue positive probably sooner than a decade, but I think that Aptera has a compelling enough story and technology and enough interest that someone will invest in them and keep them alive until they become revenue positive. So I'm hopeful that that's the case, and I think it's a good move. I think it's a good move. They eliminate 18 positions. I mean, that is always going to be very difficult. Obviously, laying off people is extremely painful for everyone involved, and no one wants to do that. And because, generally these people are probably good people and did a good job, and you just have to cut the positions to become leaner. And if you look at it, probably most of these positions on average are getting paid about 50, 60, maybe even $70,000 a year with expenses of like healthcare and that kind of stuff. That usually adds about 50%. So you're talking probably about $100,000 in cash flow per position. So eliminating 18 positions, if that's the case, is a savings of about $1.8 million a year, which is not inconsequential. So I think they do need to do this, and they are saving money so they can get to production. And I think it was a good move. If anything, I think they should have made it sooner. Of course, I'm talking as a guy that knows nothing about business. I've never had a startup, so this is total armchair quarterbacking, and I'm sure that the team at Aptera knows about 1,000 times more than I do, and they know exactly what they're doing, and they decided to do this. But I think that my personal, uneducated, unexperienced opinion is that this was a good move, and if anything, they should have done it sooner. Um, the other interesting thing about this whole uh, report is that the next milestone is having a Delta vehicle design completed by the end of the year. I think this pretty much confirms that there is no physical Delta being produced this year. So I don't expect a physical delta by the end of this year. If there was that, I'm almost positive they would have worded this. The next milestone is having a delta vehicle um, completed, like physically completed. So a Delta vehicle completed by the end of this year, instead of saying a Delta vehicle design completed by the end of the year. So I think the design is going to be completed by the end of the year. They are on track to do that. If and you know, there's basically less than a month and a half left in the year, and a lot of it is holidays. So you know, they basically have to have this done. There's unless they're almost done with a Delta physical vehicle at this time, there's no way they're going to get a physical Delta built by the end of this year. So it's a Delta design, so I think we can confirm that. And as many of us suspected, a Delta production intent vehicle physically built is not going to be until 2023, hopefully early 2023. And then hopefully they find production and they can tool up and get into actual producing vehicles. Again, the last VLab interview with Chris Anthony makes that seem like it's 9 months from when they get capital. I don't know if they've gotten the capital already or they're still looking for that capital, but I think even if they've gotten the capital already, we're 9 months away from that, which is pushing us into late 2023. So late 2023, I think, is the earliest estimate uh, of a vehicle being delivered to an actual customer. Okay, so you know, not the best news, but I think it's good that they're on the right track. They're they're trying to get lean, they're trying to save money, and they are focusing more on production than anything else, and I think that's good. They probably need to focus less on everything else and just be laser focused on just getting to production, because as many of us understand, if they get into production, I think that'll allay a lot of fears, and then that will probably bring on investors. And once these things are on the street, I think reservations will skyrocket. Okay, well, tell me what you guys think about this news in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and thanks as always to our supporting members, and have a great day, everyone.